guys here real quick. Thank you guys for coming out to support my senior project and support Hilltop. I appreciate it very much, and I know Hilltop appreciates it a lot too. And I think we're gonna have a fun night tonight. We have some of our favorite worship songs to play, some original songs that I've written that we're gonna play for you guys. We're gonna hear from from different people about experiences from camp, memories they have, that kind of stuff. And then also Ryan Croft is the camp manager, and he's gonna share with us as well. And then also we have homemade cookies that you guys can enjoy during a break there. We are going to take up a donation for Hilltop. That's how the fundraiser is going to work. And there's going to be 2 times that you can do that. The first one is in the middle of the service when we go to the break for cookies and stuff, or event I should say, there will be in the middle aisle 2 drop boxes if you want to do it during that time. Or if you want to wait till the end after you've heard everybody talk about camp, because there will be a couple people sharing after the intermission. There will be a song, and I'll let you guys know if you want to get up and go to the back during that song and do that. And then at the end of the night, we'll announce how much we raised. Our goal is to raise $500, and so we'll see if we can reach that goal tonight and what happens. So that's our goal. And real quick, I just want to share why I'm doing this for my senior project and what camp means to me. And the reason I chose to do this is because throughout my entire life, camp has had a major impact in my life, and it's always been a place that from day camp down to this last year when I'm a senior, that minus, I think I only missed maybe I only missed the 1 year because of COVID. That might have been the one time I didn't go to camp since I've lived here. And no matter whether I was feeling sad or depressed going into the week or even when I was feeling happy, anytime I went to camp, it was a nice time that I could refocus myself and just realize, just kind of be like, okay, this is where I'm at. And then I always left that week of camp feeling, or weekend, I should say, feeling refreshed. And so that's one of the reasons I have loved camp, because it's always been a helpful part in my life. And this is just my small way of giving back a little bit, which it won't even compare, but that's what I want to do. And then one of my favorite stories from camp is when I was younger, I used to do wilderness camp instead of the dorms. And I went, it was fun though, but I realized soon after I switched to dorms that dorms are a lot better because you have air conditioning. So I was doing wilderness, and back then I was pretty shy, and I didn't talk to a lot of the kids a lot. So this one particular year, when all the kids went to play, I would stay in our little shed area with the kitchen ladies and the cooks for our week. And being outside, there was a ton of flies. And I'm not even joking. I got a fly swatter, and every day during the recreation time, I would take my fly swatter and kill all the flies. And the reason I remember that is because I kept track in my head of every single fly that I killed. And I don't remember the exact number, but I promise you, it was over 1,000. I kept a count in my head. There was so many flies. Every time they landed, there was like 4 tables. I would walk around to each table, and it was crazy. And the good news is that because I killed that many flies, they let me eat first at lunch one day. So that made me happy. So anyway, that was just one of my favorite stories from camp from my life, and that was more comedic. But camp for me has been a serious time too that I've enjoyed. So anyway, I hope you guys will enjoy the night, and thank you for being here again. At this time, if Jeff Schneider would come forward, he's going to lead us in a quick word of prayer, and then we'll get some music started for you guys.
Psalm 100 says, "Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of the pasture. Enter his gate with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations." Will you pray with me? O Lord, our God, you are the Lord of all creation. Father, we thank you for giving us another day. Father, we thank you for this time where we could come here and give you worship and praise, Lord. And as this evening unfolds and we just hear thanksgiving for this camp that you provide for so many, Father, we're going to hear about the past, Lord. We're going to hear what's going on in the present. And Father, just bless the offerings that go toward the current situation, the present, and the future of this camp, Lord. Just help it grow and continue to bless all that pass through. And Father, we know right now there's nothing better than you. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Search the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures of faith I never know. You came along, put me back together. Better I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. And all my failures I tried to hide. It was my truth till I met you. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new. Jesus, when I met you, what a day. You called my name. I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. You called my name. I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you called my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. You called my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day.
In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making the wine. In the soil I now surrender, you are breaking the ground. So I yield to you and to your careful hand. When I trust you, I don't need to understand.
So make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. Came here with nothing but all you have given me. Jesus, in the crushing, in the pressing, you are making new wine. In the soil I now surrender, you are breaking new ground. You are breaking new ground. Make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. Came here with nothing, all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. No, Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Where there is new wine, there is new power, there is new freedom. The kingdom is here. I lay down my old ways, carry your new fire today. Where there is new wine, there is new power, there is new freedom, and the kingdom is here. I lay down my old ways, carry your new fire today. Make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. God, I came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. No, Jesus, bring new wine out of me. All right, so at this time, we're going to have our first set of speakers. So if Timon and Pat and Patty would like to come forward, I'll have a mic for you down here, and they're going to share a little bit about camp.
Hey, everybody. I brought notes. I didn't ask if I could bring notes, but I did want to make sure I hit a couple things. I was asked if I wanted to tell a story about camp today, and just like I'm sure everyone who's going to be up here, there's a few hundred of them that we can share. And I will share one at the end here. I'll keep it short and sweet, but I wanted to just say some of the reasons why I personally value camp and some of the things that I got out of it. When I was young and when I was a camper, first and foremost, it helped me learn how to make friends, learn how to accept people who are different than myself. There's a lot of different people there. Learned how to clean up after myself, whether I wanted to or not. There was a lot of accountability there. They didn't want me to leave my trash everywhere. I learned about foreign missions. And as I became a young adult, I stopped getting to do all those camp activities, and I got to participate in them more, going to things like Chrysalis and working for it and working for camp, going out there and doing missions for our church and lending a hand. I learned things a little more deeply, like the importance of Christ in the grand picture, more like a quantity, how to quantify what he did for us. I learned to understand my relationship with Christ, what that is, how to see that, how to study with Christ in the Word. That's something I learned at camp. And I got to learn the cost of camp. Seen and unseen, physical and mental. And I just wanted to share a story, one of the reasons why I really valued camp. As a young adult, I had the opportunity to be a dorm dad to some of these troublemakers in this very room. And I had the opportunity one evening when no one wants to go to bed, as they never do, that we got to split up. And really, I kicked everyone out who didn't want to go to bed, is really the simple term. And we split off, and we hung out in the woods, and we got to sit down, and we got to talk Bible, and we got to talk reasoning and understanding and passion about why things are the way they are, and talk deeply on a spiritual level, just men who desired to know life, to know God, and just get to share that. So I would say my value of camp is fairly high. And if you don't believe me, you can just ask the fiance that I got engaged to there.
You can stay down here. That's why I want to stay. Here, I'll hold on to you. This is Miss Patty, and she was going to share. What were you going to share about? We're going to share about how camp started. Is that correct?
Right.
And I'm going to hold the mic for you, but you don't have to hold it. But I'll hold it so they can hear.
Okay. I am a first-year Hilltopper, and my father is responsible in a sort of a way for Hilltop. We were members at the East Columbus Christian Church. And my father had a Boy Scout troop there. He was a scoutmaster. And he was looking for a place where he could take those scouts, out of the city. And he had a dream kind of, well, he did it. He built a cabin for him out there on Hilltop. There was a man in the church, Lawrence Stuckey, and his family owned the campground. Their name was Ping. And anyway, through Mr. Stuckey, he got Dad acquainted with them, and they ended up giving my dad ground out there. Dad, though, didn't want the responsibility, didn't think he had the time, and didn't want the responsibility of the ground and all that. So the minister at Columbus, Jim Redmond, was minister at that time, and he told Dad, he said, that would be a great place for a camp for kids. So they worked on that, all of them. And let's see, I had a bunch more I was going to say. Anyway, like I say, Mr. Stuckey and his relatives gave the ground to Dad for the scout. And like I say, Dad really didn't want all that responsibility. So James Redmond, the minister at the church, took it over. And they started the Christian camp there. And Dad and the church people just really did so much work out there. You can't believe how much time they put in. And the first year of camp, the ladies at East Columbus, a bunch of them, they would get up early in the morning, mind you, go out there at camp, and they would take care of feeding all the kids, all of them. And then they'd go home in the evening. And I had so much more I wanted to say about it, and I can't think of it now. Oh, yes, yes. It has another special reason that I love it. That's where I met my husband, Don.
So you can meet your husband. You can get engaged. You can get proposed to there, as Timmons said.
And my grandmother was out there with me one day before camp started, and she spotted Don, and she pointed me out. She said, "Patty, that's the one." I said, "Grandma, I've already spotted him." And the camp, when they first started, of course, they didn't have all the buildings that they do now. And the people there, the men and women of the East Columbus Christian Church, you won't believe how hard they all worked out there to get that place going. Some of the ladies, they would get up very early, like I say, and go out so they could feed us all. And when they went to building the buildings, the men did that. Even the lake they had built, it was not there at the time. And I remember the kitchen area was enclosed. It was a building. It was everything was very rough at first. But anyway, they had the kitchen area was enclosed. But where we ate was just had a roof over it, and we had tables and benches there that we sat on. And we had vespers always up at the lake. And like I say, no buildings. We had benches. A lot of us sat on the ground even. And in the mornings, we would have classes, Bible classes and so on. And then the afternoon, we had recreation. We would swim and play ball and so on, whatever, anyway. And like I say, the men and women at East Columbus really put in the hours out there. And I had something else. Well, anyway, it was a great experience for all of us, and it certainly has served a great purpose. And the first camp was nothing like it is today, like I say. In fact, we had some of us slept in tents. But they did have the Stuckey's Lodge was there. That was one of the first buildings, that and the kitchen area were the first ones that they put up. And the boys slept in the Stuckey's Lodge. And like I say, they had one building, I remember, up around the corner, and some girls slept in it. And like I say, we had vespers up by the lake. We had morning devotions, and then we had vespers up there of an evening. And I'll think of a lot more I would like to tell you, but that's about it.
Well, thanks for sharing, Patty.
Hi, friends of Noah's, friends of Hilltop. I am Pat Franklin, and I am here to give my thoughts about Hilltop. I appreciate Noah giving me the opportunity to do this from one senior to another. Thank you. Um, and oh, there's cookies too, some without chocolate. Thank you, Sandy. My first challenge at Hilltop was figuring out how to get there from the suburbs of Elizabethtown without going through Columbus or using State Road 46. Thank you, Sandy Martin. Thank you, Google Earth. Thank you, Google Maps. And now I'm familiar with Bellsville Pike and Poplar Grove Road and all those little creatures out there in Brown County. My first experience was going there as a participant in the women's retreat. First as a participant, then I was a workshop presenter, and then I was on the planning committee. I've made a lot of friends at Hilltop, lasting friendships. The best part of being out there, I thought, the real fun, was being a dorm mom with the icebreaker girls and boys, and then working with day camp, the little guys. I always like working with the little guys. It was hot, it was steamy, mosquitoes, bugs, whatever they were finding in the creek. But it was always fun, even for an old person like myself, because I like the crafts, I like the games, and the Bible lessons were always good, always good. It was easy to make friends at Hilltop. I still have those friendships with the people that I work with. I don't remember all the kids. Some of them I do. Some of them remember me, amazingly enough. Wait a minute, it's not that amazing, that's right, because I'm a different color than they are. So, and the best part I like about Hilltop, my takeaway was, what happens at Hilltop does not stay at Hilltop. It's true. We're there to sweet fellowship, you make friends, spiritual growth, encouraging one another, and teaching the little guys about God, his plan, why we're here, that he loves us. And you don't forget those things. And the other part of that is you share that with other people, whether they're a Christian or not. Or you didn't take a picture, did you? Thank you. Okay, sorry. Okay, but that's the best part of Hilltop. I never felt like I was a stranger there. Always welcome. When you're willing to help, people are always glad to have you help, I think. So that's all I got. Noah said I had 3 to 5 minutes. Really, I don't do that. So, the other thing is, I got Noah's back. Get out your checkbooks, get out your cash, because there will be a donation for Hilltop, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, I love to hear the stories and the history of Hilltop from the people who've experienced, because for me, it's not even 2 years yet that I've been able to be a part of Hilltop, and so I just love to hear how Hilltop has impacted so many lives over the year. Noah, I want to tell you thank you on behalf of Hilltop for doing this tonight, for making this your senior project. That is awesome and amazing, and honestly, I'm amazed at where your heart is and how much you care about Hilltop, and that is awesome, and I appreciate that. So the first thing I want to do is kind of give you a quick update about Hilltop, and then talk a little bit about more of the future of Hilltop. This year we are celebrating 75 years. Hilltop has been a part of Brown County and so many lives now for 75 years. And over those 75 years, thousands of young people have had the opportunity to come out to Hilltop. Thousands of young people have had the opportunity to hear about Christ in new ways, in deeper ways. Thousands of lives have been touched by those who have come out and served at Hilltop. And because of those thousands of young people that have come to Hilltop, have experienced God at Hilltop, we know that they have gone out and they have touched even more lives in their communities and around the world by what God has done through that little corner of Brown County in that beautiful, special place that is Hilltop. And I consider it an honor to get to be part of Hilltop and do it. I follow behind some amazing men and women who have been part of leading and carrying Hilltop forward, and I am honored to get to be part of that and to be called the manager of Hilltop this year. So since May, this past May, we had our last big fundraising campaign, and our goal there was to pay off the last chunk of our debt aside from our mortgage. And I can tell you that between February of 2020 and our current, in this month, we've paid off over $61,000 in debt at Hilltop. And that is thanks to all of you who give and support Hilltop. Our only remaining debt is our mortgage. That is all we have left, and that is below $150,000. And we are currently set a goal to have that completely paid off in the next 6 years. But now that we have been able to pay all that other debt off, we are now turning and looking toward the future. And what is that going to be next for Hilltop, and where do we go next? And the cool thing is since February of 2020, a lot has happened at Hilltop. We had COVID that shut us down for a year. We built a brand new zip line that we've got in service for the first time this past summer. We've done a lot to refresh, to revitalize, to work on projects that have been needed to have done for years, but they honestly just didn't have the time to do it. Because of that break of COVID, we've been able to get a lot of that finished. And in doing all of those things, we have not increased the debt at all. And so not only have we paid it down, but we've made sure that we have not added to that debt with all the new things that we were doing. And that is our goal going forward, is to make sure that we don't have to incur any more debt, but that we move forward and we continue to see the ministry grow. This past summer at Hilltop, we had 525 campers attend camp, which is up from the past several years before that. But here's the awesome thing. From those 525 campers, 34 of them accepted Christ, were baptized, gave their lives to Christ. That is worth celebrating. There are several more that we know that went home to get baptized at their home churches, and still more that we know that were talking with their leaders, and they left camp asking more questions and going back to talk to their churches and people at their church about making that decision. So I'm excited to know what happened this summer at Hilltop. I had a camper share with me one of the first weeks. We did a thing. We did s'mores this summer. So every week, every camp session, Mal and I would go out and we would make s'mores with the campers. And that was kind of one of the things we did to connect with them. And so I got the opportunity to talk to some of the kids. And I was talking to one of the kids one of the first weeks. And I said, "So what do you love about Hilltop?" They said, "Man," he said, "we really missed it last summer." He said, "I am just so glad that we are back here." He said, "Because this is where I get to come and spend time with my friends." He said, "I miss that when I'm not here." We had another camper several weeks into summer. First day the camper showed up on Sunday, they immediately let us know they didn't want to be there. They were very quick and told us, "I don't want to be here. My parents maybe come here. I don't like it. I don't want to be here." Monday, they were, "I want to go home. I don't want to be here. I don't like this place. I don't know why my parents made me come here." And then something changed. By Wednesday, that same camper was having a whole lot of fun. And then Thursday evening, that camper made the decision to give their life to Christ, and they were baptized Friday before they went home. That is what we support when we support Hilltop. I got to hear George Barna speak at a summit very recently. I got to hear a recording of what he spoke about, and he talked about the next book they're putting out. If you know, George Barna is with the Barna Research Group. And he talked about one of the things that they've noticed, and this has been over a span of 30 years of research that they've done, is they have found that can say that a child, a young person, by the time they are age 13, they have cemented their worldview. So by the time they're 13 years old, they know what their worldview is and what they're going to base their decisions, how they live their life for the rest of their life based on what they have gotten to at that point. And right now in our society, we are seeing that the number of people who have a biblical worldview is dropping rapidly. So it's vital that we have camp where we can touch the lives. That is our biggest group of campers, is under the age of 13. And so I can assure you that it is our goal, and it will always be our goal at Hilltop, to make sure that we are doing everything we can to teach and connect these young people with Christ, so that by the time they get out of high school, they have a biblical worldview, one that is centered and focused on Christ. I did youth ministry before coming into camp ministry. I did youth ministry over 25 years, and we knew, and one of the things that we talked a lot about and knew is that by the time somebody turned 18, if they didn't know Christ, the chances of them becoming a Christian was almost nothing. It is very, very hard to get an adult to give their life to Christ. It's far more impactful and has a more lasting effect if it happens before they turn 18. And so it's always been a goal in youth ministries to do everything I can to get young people connected with Christ. And I've always loved sending kids to camp because I've found that camp is a place where they go, where they get away from all their distractions, and they have 120 hours where they are exposed to nothing but the love of Christ and hearing about Christ every day in their life. And that is what is so beautiful and what drew me into camp ministry, is wanting to be a part of that. But camp, in order to do camp, to do what we do, it costs money. And we do everything we can to keep our costs as low as possible for our campers. In fact, I was sharing, somebody was asking me about funds and stuff, of what things we do that really brings money in. And I can tell you, the thing that we do that doesn't bring money into camp, that actually we just hope we kind of break even on with our expenses, is our summer camp. But our summer camp is our ministry, and that is what we do. That is the entire focus of Hilltop. Everything else that happens throughout the year is all to drive and allow us to do camp for our campers and keep that cost as low as possible. And we know that cost is still seems like a lot for a lot of families, but we keep that as low as we can. To do that, though, we rely on the generous support of our donors. Throughout the year, we need monthly supporters who will give to this ministry, who will support this ministry. In 2022, we are just now finishing up our budget. We'll actually finalize it Monday night at our next board meeting, but our budget for next year, to carry our budget forward with what we need to do, we know that we need $20,000 a month. That's what it takes to keep us going throughout the year. Now, about 10,000 of that 20,000 comes from our churches that support us. We've got 54 churches that give consistently to support Hilltop, and they cover about half of that. And so we rely on individuals to give that other remaining. And it seems like a lot, but the reality is that's only 200 people giving $50 a month. So it's not a huge burden to bear. But we need people to partner with us, to stand with us, to make that commitment to monthly support Hilltop with whatever you can do. The other thing that we're doing next year, and there are some cards that you can pick up out front if you didn't already see them. But next year we are starting, we're moving forward now, kind of, like I said, we focused on debt. Now we're moving to focusing on the future. Next year we are doing, we've set a series of projects, and we're calling them our safety and security upgrades. There are all kinds of maintenance things that we haven't been able to do and haven't been able to focus funds on, that we now know we have to hit these and target these. And so we're calling that it's our 2022 project list, and you can see that card out there. It's got a list, and we are listing every single project on there. In fact, the cool thing is we put them in order of what we value as importance of those things. And so those projects that we're working on, there's several things, like the manager's residence needs a new roof. It's been leaking, so it's on the list. We've got to replace it. We want to finish the basement of the cabin because we are looking to add a second full-time staff member next year. to try to help with the increase that we have in our retreats and just an increase that we're seeing all throughout the year. We've got to bring a new water line onto camp, and we're going to bring a new one in so that we have a secondary line, mainly for two reasons. For one, our current water line is old. It is cracking and decaying. I think it's already been fixed about 5 times since I've been there. And in order to do the replacement that needs to be done in it, we have to bring a second line in that'll feed the manager's residence and the other residents on camp so that we can turn water off on camp for about 3 weeks to run a new line. And then what that'll do is with both of those new lines in place, we will now have an upgrade to our water on the lake side of camp so that as we expand in the future, we can do more up there because we'll have better water supply up that way. And then that's going to allow us, too, to have a backup so that if Brown County has flooding like tends to happen and it washes out our water line, which I've heard happens a lot of summers around high school week, we'll have a secondary water line that we can then pipe water back into the cabins, and so we don't have to miss out on camp for that. We're looking at continuing to upgrade and replace our picnic tables. We're looking to do new benches at our fire area this next year. We're looking at putting in 8 new toilets to replace the ones that are honestly are discontinued. And I know this past summer, one of those toilets, I spent, I think, about 3 hours online searching till I finally found somebody on eBay that had a part that I could pay in order to get a toilet repaired. And so we're trying to get those upgraded. Our plan is to replace the diving boards at the pool that are starting to rust and need to be replaced. We've got to do drainage improvements around several of our buildings, HVAC replacement on several of our units that are starting to age out. We're planning to do an upgrade on our gym and our chapel, on our technical equipment, our audio-visual equipment in there to bring that up to something that's more usable to others. And then there's several other items on that list that we plan on doing. But that project list is going to take an additional, on top of our budget for next year, is an additional $120,000 to do that list. And that seems like a lot, but the cool thing is as soon as we put that list together, I had one person reach out to me and say, hey, I understand that you guys are putting your budget together for next year. You've got the celebration dinner coming up. What are you doing? So I told him about our project list. And a few days later, that person showed up at camp with a $20,000 check to get us started. At our celebration dinner at the beginning of the month, which is our big fundraising event we do every year, another $10,000 was added to that. And so we are already, with just a month into telling people about this project list, we've already got almost $33,000 toward that goal met. And so God is moving and God is doing. So tonight, what we are asking you to do, what I'm asking you to do, is prayerfully consider doing 2 things. First, consider making Hilltop something you support every single month, that you monthly support us through whatever size gift that you can do. And the second thing I'm asking you to do is consider giving a one-time donation toward our project list. And you can take that card and you can actually look at that card, and if you say, hey, I want to make sure that I want to pay for this or help with this one, you can tell us what project you want that money to go toward. Or you can just give to that and say, I'm giving toward that project list. And our plan is we're going to try to get all those finished, but we are only doing them as the money comes in because, like I said, our goal going forward is not to add new debt. So we're going to knock these out as we get the funds as they come in for that. And so tonight as we continue and you get to hear from more people who can share better stories about Hilltop than I can because they have way more experience with Hilltop than I do, know that what you hear them talking about, how Hilltop has impacted their lives, that's what you're giving toward. More young people who will experience Christ, oftentimes for the very first time at Hilltop. And the lives that are touched and impacted, all because of people like you who support and lift up Hilltop. So, thank you for that.
Thank you, Ryan, and Tim and Pat and Patty for sharing. I appreciate that, and thank you guys for being here. At this time, we are going to go to our intermission time for the cookies, and we have drinks. And so there is a bunch of cookies that some people that are here, some people that weren't able to make it made for you guys. And so feel free to try like one of each or however many cookies you want to try. And this is one of the times, if in the middle aisle in the very back next to the doors. There are drop boxes if you do want to donate now, but if you want to wait till the end, you can wait till the end, and we will do that then during a certain song, but I'll let you guys know. But, and then the way to get to where we're going is if you just go out the middle, and then there's a double door over there, and you guys can go get cookies in about 5-10 minutes. We'll come back, and we have some original songs to sing for you guys, and second half of the event. Thank you. 2-minute thing about Chrysalis. No, whenever I'm doing something big, I twist my hand so my whole chord's getting messed up. I just when I switch hands, I move my hand, I move the mic everywhere, and it's bad. It's a bad habit. Yeah, see, that's from tonight. It's bad. All right, here it is. Well, when you ever do fit, it's only gonna be like 2 minutes. And I'm gonna actually I'm gonna introduce the band. I'm just gonna say. I was just gonna say what I. I meant to say at the beginning who everybody was playing, so I'm just. I'll say Miss Sierra Schneider. All right, guys. Well, as people are making their way back in, we'll start the second half here. And in 1 second, we're going to do a couple original songs for you guys, and I'll kind of give background to those. But two things I want to say first. First of all, I just wanted to introduce you guys to the team that is up here. And I'm so thankful that they are playing at this event with me. Over on the piano is Sierra Schneider with the piano and vocals. Acoustic guitar is Trevor Foreman. On the electric, we have Devin McNeely and Gary Campbell. On the bass, we have Mark Fisher. And then on the drums, we have Sean Schneider. So that is our team tonight. And I'm very happy that they get to play with us. And the other cool thing is that Mark and Gary, we don't usually play with them. I've played with them actually just one time. And I asked them to fill in because we were missing one of our players. And I already knew they're good, but it's always fun to play with them because I feel like we have a different type of chemistry when we play together. So I'm thankful that they were able to come and play with us. And then real quickly, I just wanted to say a quick thing about a event that happens at Hilltop and that I've been a part of, and it is called Chrysalis. And Sean's been a part of it, and Sierra, and Trevor not yet, but he will soon. But anyway, Chrysalis is a special event, and it had a major impact in my life, not just camp. So it's kind of funny how being at camp and being at Chrysalis, which happens at camp, has been two of the most memorable things that I've gone through. But the main takeaway I would give you about Chrysalis, it's an event for teens. There also is an Emmaus, which is the same thing but for adults pretty much. But Chrysalis is what I've experienced, and the main takeaway I get from Chrysalis is just the love that you receive. Like, I know that I'm loved, and I know there's people that care about me. But when I go to Chrysalis, it's more eye-opening to realize that there's people that I don't even really know that well that love me, that care about me, and are willing to put time and effort into my life. And that was the main takeaway I got, let alone meeting friends, eating good food, all that. So that was my takeaway from Chrysalis. And then also I got to experience being a helper at Chrysalis, singing on the music team, if you can believe that. And that was what I helped with there. And so I've been able to see both sides as a person attending and as a person helping and actually investing into the kids. And the one time that I remember from Chrysalis is that when I was actually there, the music team was playing Reckless Love, which is my favorite song, when it still is my favorite song, I think, to this day. And I said to the guy, oh, I really like that song. And his name was James Young. And he said, would you like to sing it with us? And I said, sure. And so he kind of took me back and played it with me to make sure I probably sounded good. He probably wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to go up there and sound like a dying goat or anything. But so we did that, and he said, okay, we'll do this. And then I did it. And after that, he let me help lead the rest of the worship times throughout the rest of the weekend. And that moment, not just the leading, and you'd have to experience it for yourself, but Chrysalis, you kind of have a tight-knit community of, you become tight really quick. Like you connect with those people very quickly. And it was amazing to do that. And that's when I first realized that I've always loved music, but in that moment I realized that music is something that I love to do. And so that was one moment from Chrysalis that has stuck with me. And but if you know any teens that would like to try that, I would say it's a definite good experience to have. So that's what I'd say about Chrysalis. And then, so now we're going to sing a couple original songs, and both of them have to do about camp. The first one we have is Crossroads, and I wrote it based off of the theme for camp this last summer, and off the Bible verse, which was Jeremiah 6:16. Jeremiah 6:16. So that's where the lyrics come from, out of that song. And we sang it. Trevor, Sierra, and I were leading the high school worship at our week of camp, and we sang that with Isaac and Stevie here and a couple other people, and that was fun. And then, so the second song we have is Everything I See, and I didn't write it for camp, but I wrote it while I was at camp, and I was literally, as the song says, I was sitting by the stream or whatever, and I was just writing down everything that I was seeing, and that's kind of where it came. And it was kind of a surreal thing, because it was one of the quickest that I've ever written something. It was like, I sat there, and I was like 10 minutes. I had all the words down, and then later that night, I went to Trevor, who had his guitar, obviously, and in probably less than 10 minutes, we had the music down. So it came out in like 20 minutes, and it was crazy, because sometimes it can take a long time to do that. So I hope you guys like this. We'll play them for you, and then, yeah. Standing at the crossroads, there is a choice in front of you. Left or right, what's wrong or right, you don't know what to do. Just stop and look up ahead. Ask for the ancient past, for that good way. Don't get in over your head. Jesus is there, leading you to a new day. Go at the crossroads, at the crossroads. Go at the crossroads, at the crossroads. Going through some hard times, the pain is inevitable. But when you travel down the straight way, you'll find rest for your soul. You gotta stop and look up ahead. Ask for the ancient past, for that good way. Don't get in over your head. Jesus is there, leading you to a new day. And go at the crossroads, at the crossroads. Go at the crossroads, at the crossroads. Rest for your soul and peace in your life. Let him lead you through the crossroads. He knows what is right. Rest for your soul, peace in your life. Let him lead you through the crossroads. He knows what is right. Just stop and look up ahead. Ask for the ancient past, for that good way. Don't get in over your head. Jesus is there, leading you to a new day. Go at the crossroads, at the crossroads. 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 Blinking lights in the sky, water trickling in a stream, wind blowing in my mind, and I don't want to miss a thing. God, your creation, your majesty. Here in this moment, how can it be that just by your word you spoke everything to be? Everything in the air All right, so now we have two more people who are going to share, and that's Isaac and Stevie. If they would come forward, and we'll hear what they have to say.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stevie, as Noah mentioned. I was really actually happy when Noah reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to talk about camp. Camp's actually one of my favorite things to talk about. I've experienced camp as both a staff member and as a camper, and both experiences have been some of my favorite experiences. In both roles, Hilltop feels like a home away from home for me, both literally and metaphorically. When you spend 8 weeks of your summer there, it kind of begins to feel like home. Hilltop is one of the places where you can be 100% yourself, and you get to meet so many other amazing kids that you might not get to meet because you live in a different city or a different county. And a lot of the kids that I've met and become friends with there, I feel like are lifelong friends. And this past summer, while I was working there, the people that I got to work alongside with feel like family to me now. And I'm extremely grateful for that experience, because while I was working there, I got to see it from not as a camper perspective where you're learning about God and you get to meet all these people, but you get to see God working in all these kids' lives. And it's just amazing. Similar to what Ryan had with an experience about a kid that didn't want to be there. There was a kid I babysat. He was there for junior high week. And every day he would come up to me, he would be like, Stevie, can I please use your phone to call my mom? Like, I don't want to be here. And I was like, Isaiah, just stick it out and you'll love it. And by Thursday he came up to me and he was like, Stevie, thanks for making me stay. This is one of the best weeks I've ever had. But also, while being a camper, I'd just like to highlight some of my favorite memories. While I was there, I've peed my pants, and believe it or not, it wasn't as a young camper. It was my first week of high school week, actually, that I peed my pants. So, also, while at camp, I learned how to do a front flip, which involved a lot of back flops, and that hurt really bad, let me tell you. I've also enjoyed, there's a camp-wide scavenger hunt every week that I've gone. I had to sing and dance the Cotton Eye Joe dance in front of the entire cafeteria because someone sent me a package, which was actually my coworkers, so that was really kind of funny of them. And also, along all the way and all those memories, I got to know more about God, and I got to know a lot of really cool people. So I never pass up an opportunity to be at camp because I know that the best memories will be made there, and I wish that everyone could experience. So I hope to see a lot of people back at camp next summer, because I hope to be a staff member next summer. So thank you.
All right. My name is Isaac Carlson, and for those of you that don't know, I spent most of my life living at camp because my parents were the managers before Ryan and Mala got there. And so when Noah asked me if I'd share about camp, I was like, I have to, because I live there. And then I also was like, what do I even say? Because there is so much that I can say. And so I actually had no idea what I was really going to say until like 30 minutes ago when I typed it out sitting there. And I was like, now I know what to say. I kind of went through some of my earliest memories there. Actually, the earliest memory I think I have in my life, I remember was like when we first moved out there. I don't know if they're there anymore, but they're the railroad ties, these old railroad ties. And it's sat by the bushes right in front of Stuckey's where it says, Welcome to Hilltop, and it had the yellow cross. And I just remembered I'd always balance on those railroad ties. And so that's like the earliest memory I have from my childhood. So that's really special to me. And then there's so many others, like he wasn't able to be here tonight, but my best friend, Garrett Spurgeon, I don't know if any of you know him, but that's where I met him. It was a week of icebreakers, and I was swimming in the pool. We were both 5 at the time, and he jumped on top of me. Little did I know that that same little rascal would be in my third grade class when I transferred to Columbus Christian School, and we spent the rest of our lives at CCS together and graduated together. And so that's where I met my best friend. Some other stories, hide and seek with the staff. That was very fun. I don't know, you probably don't know him. He's been only there for a few years. Some of you might, but some of you may not. His name is Zach. This man climbed into the basketball hoop to hide. No one could find him. I was shocked. I was like, when we found him, I was like, what in your right mind told you to get up there? Those were some fun nights. The next memory I have is another staff game called Murder. Now you may be saying, why are we playing a game called Murder at camp? It's not actually murder. Well, not really. You do figuratively get murdered. But in the dorm on the hill, there's these big sliding wooden doors, if any of you know what I'm talking about. And one was sticking partially out. And the way you play Murder is pitch black. And so I thought the murderer was nearby, and I sprinted in the pitch black and smacked my face against it. And all I said was, don't worry about killing me. I am dead. There's also a lot of dorm stories I can, and some I probably shouldn't tell. So I'll just leave it at that because there's a lot of fun dorm stories I like. One of my most recent memories is they were talking about s'mores. I wonder if Ryan knows where this is going. And they like to do Reese's with their s'mores. And Ryan accidentally forgot to unwrap my Reese cup. And so I take the s'more and I bite into it and I'm like, what is this? And then I'm like, I go to pull it out, I'm like, the wrapper's still there. And then we laughed and, had a good time with that. And then just one of my favorite memories is the opportunities I've had working there as a staff, and then also working there as a faculty member, as just being able to be with the kids, share your stories with them. Even at high school week this year, I had some moments when I got to share part of my testimony with my friends, and hopefully I don't go over your 3 to 5 minute time period, but I might, because as I was sitting there, I kind of told myself I'd like to briefly just share my testimony and share how camp has impacted part of that. So, like I said, I spent most of my life growing up at camp, and I kind of had this pressure / feeling that, I was supposed to be this, good, great, perfect kid. I was the camp manager's son. He can't mess it up. If he messes it up, it's not very good, not looking good. So, I would say I was a good kid. I was probably a really obnoxious, bratty kid from, ages, 3 to 12, whatever, in there. But, I'd say I was a pretty good kid. I tried my best to be the goody two-shoes. And then I kind of got into 8th grade, and 8th grade, freshman and sophomore year is when I started kind of doing what a lot of kids do, a lot of guys specifically, and they start kind of chasing after girls. And I didn't have very much luck with that. And that led me into probably the darkest years of my life, where I never got it diagnosed, but I was very deeply depressed. I spent most of my nights crying myself to sleep, and I would go through all of my friends from school, all of my friends from church, and I just list them off in my head, and I'd say they don't care if I was gone. And every night, the last people I'd think of were my parents, and I'd say, but they care. And that's honestly, me being able to say that they care was the part that kept me from ever seriously contemplating suicide. But my sophomore year, I was very fortunate to have my Bible teacher at Columbus Christian. His name is Kevin Ritter. He shared about his nephew who had recently committed suicide, and he spoke at his funeral. And what he shared really opened my eyes to just how much people care, not just my parents, but my friends, my family, just everyone around me. And then I went to camp again lived at camp, but attended a week at camp that summer again. And I just really realized how much, not just everyone else, but God loves you. Because there are these people that they don't even need to love you, and the reason they do is because they have faith in God, and He is basically commanded us to love one another like we would ourselves. and it really just showed how much he loves me. And, you know, just between camp, between my school, my family, between all of that, and all that really came from camp, my home, that's where it all started, is kind of why I am where I am today, where I don't really deal with those thoughts of depression anymore and those thoughts of suicide. And I just can never be appreciative enough for what camp has done. And I don't want to diminish from camp at all, because camp is great. And more instead kind of talk on, you know, how awesome our God is, because of the work he did in my life, but specifically the work he allows to happen through camp and to touch all these other kids' lives that go there.
Saturday was silent, surely it was through. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? Friday's disappointment, Sunday's empty too. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is a praise make a dead man walk again. Oh, shall be impossible. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. Impossible things in your name, they shall be done. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. Impossible things in your name, they shall be done. Okay, so this is our, we're getting near the ends now, but this is the song that if you guys did not donate earlier, while we're singing the song, if you guys want to do that, you can do that in the back, and we'll, after the song, we have one more, and then we'll tally it up and announce how much we raised after that last song. But if you guys want to do that during the song, you can rise up, as the song is called, and go do that. Anyway, sorry for that, but anyway. So this is that time if you want to do that, and we'll sing this one. And thank you guys again. Dark and all alone, growing comfortable.
Are you too scared to move and walk out of this tomb?
Buried underneath the lies that you believe.
Safe and sound, stuck in the ground, too lost to be found.
You're
Just asleep, and it's time to leave. Rise up, take a breath, you're alive now. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? You're brand new, power of death couldn't hold you. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? Rise up, rise up.
out from the grave like Lazarus. When he said your name, the thing that filled your veins was
More than blood, it's the kind of love that washes sin away.
Now the
Door is open wide, and the stone's been rolled aside. The old is gone, the light has come, so come on and rise up. Take a breath, you're alive now. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? You're brand new, power of death couldn't hold you. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus?
like Lazarus.
Rise up.
Oh, oh,
Rise up.
oh.
Out from the grave like
He's
Lazarus.
calling us to walk out of of the dark.
He's giving us new resurrected hearts. He's calling us to walk out of the dark. He's giving us new resurrected hearts. Oh,
Come on and rise up.
take a breath, you're alive now. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? You're brand new. Power of death couldn't hold you. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? Rise up, rise up, out from the grave like Lazarus.
Have to stay there.
Rise up, rise up, out from the grave like Lazarus.
All right, so for our last song, we are going to do a dismissal song, but this is our technical last song, and it is an original that I wrote, and I want to do something a little different. I think one of the big things that camp is about, obviously they make kids' summers better, and you can have a good experience during summer, but one of the things that camp tries to do and does well is that they share Jesus with other people, and that's the most important thing. So tonight as we go, I'm not going to do anything like weird where you guys are going to have to come up, but I just want you to think, we're going to sing this song, and it's called Get Up, and it's, I wrote it based off the song, or parable of the prodigal son, and for anybody who might not know that, pretty much the short summary is the son, he wanted to go live on his own, he wanted to leave his father's house, and so he asked his father for his inheritance, pretty much saying like, oh, I wish you were dead, like just give me my money now and I'm getting out of here. And the father did. The father gave him that ability, and the son went off, and it was great. It was great for a while. In the distant country is what the parable says. And he eventually he ran out of his money, and he realized he didn't have any friends, and he got to the point where he's in the pig pen, and he's eating the food that the pigs were eating. And then it says that he came to his senses, and he realized that, what am I doing here when literally the servants in my father's house are better off than what I'm at? And so he decided to get up out of the pig pen, and he decided that he wanted to go home and ask for forgiveness, but not even to be a son, but just to be a servant in his father's house. So he got up. That's where the song comes from. He got up out of the pen, and he walked home, thinking probably in his head, like, what am I going to say? How am I going to make this right? And the father, who'd been waiting, mind you, he was waiting at the door. And as soon as he saw his son coming down the road, he didn't just wait for him to come. He didn't cross his arms. He got up again, and he ran to his son, and he hugged his son. He loved his son, gave him clothes, gave him the family ring, threw a party for him. And that's the symbol of that story, is where most of us in this room are the prodigal son. We, at some point, maybe not at this point, but at some point we have walked away from the Father. Some of us have come back to the Father. Some of us have come to the Father and are currently living there. But maybe there's somebody here that you are not with the Father right now, and you are either in the pig pen or you are still having the great time with your Father's inheritance. And as we sing this song, think of what the Father is. His arms are open wide. He's waiting for you to come home at the door and running out to meet you when you do. And that's the truth for anybody. Wherever you're at in your life right now, whether you think you're doing good, whether you think you're doing bad, there's an opportunity for you to come back home to the Father, which the Father is God. The Father is Jesus. And so just think of that as we're singing this song, Get Up. And afterwards, we'll do a couple extra things, and then we'll be dismissed. And if you don't have to come forward, but you can make a heart decision tonight. And if you do need to talk to somebody, I can talk to you. Ryan would be more than happy to talk to you probably. And I'll do my best if you want to talk to me, because I don't always know all the answers, but I'll try. But if you need to do that, you don't have to come forward or anything, but just think about it in your heart as we sing the song. all left the Father's house at one time or another, trying to do things our own way. If one is closer than a brother, thought we could make it on our own. Now rock bottom and we're feeling so alone. Come on and get up, get out of the pen, get up. Turn away from all your sin and wake up. With open arms, the Father is waiting for you. Come on and get up. Past is in the past, get up. No more looking back and wake up. With open arms, the Father is waiting for you. I want to go back home, but I don't know what to say. But when the Father saw me, He came running from far away. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was dead, but I came back around. Come on and get up, get out of the pen, get up. Turn away from all your sin and wake up. With open arms, the Father is waiting for you. Come on and get up. Past is in the past, get up. No more looking back and wake up. With open arms, the Father is waiting for you. Well, I was still a long way off. You were filled with compassion more than I could imagine. While I was still a long way off, you ran to me. While I was still a long way off, you were filled with compassion more than I could imagine. While I was still a long way off, I'm finally free. Come on and get up, get out of the pen, get up. Turn away from all your sin and wake up. With open arms, the Father is waiting for you. Come on and get up. Past is in the past, get up. No more looking back and wake up. With open arms, the Father is waiting for you. You threw your arms around me, put some clothes on my back. You put a ring on my finger. You're still my dad. You threw your arms around me, put some clothes on my back. You put a ring on my finger. You're still my dad. You threw your arms around me, put some clothes on my back. Put a ring on my finger. You're still my dad. You threw your arms around me, put some clothes on my back. Put a ring on my finger. I'm so glad that you're my dad. So now, I think one of the guys in the back counted up what we had, and so we will see if we met our goal. Our goal is 500. We'll see what happens, and see we did. I feel like we'll be like the beauty pageant. Get the card.
I don't know. When you sang rattle, you said you think there's another miracle in this room. Matthew 14 says, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks. God took your $500 goal, he multiplied it. $1,734.
Thank you, guys. was not expecting that, honestly. But wow, thank you guys, and I know Ryan and Mal are going to be really happy for that too. But thank you guys for doing that. That's very kind of you guys. But and also thank you for being here. I'm glad that I got to do this. I'm happy that it happened. I'm happy that happened. And you are dismissed, but we are going to rock out to one more song if you want to stay and listen. But if not, if it's getting late, I know, but you can go home. We're just going to kind of rock out up here for a little bit if you want to stay and listen. But you guys can go. And thank you so much again for being here and supporting Hilltop and supporting my project. And thank you. Oh, gee. Without further ado.